Hey, thanks for tuning in. In this video, we're going to talk about my sanctuary you shall fear. In the Torah, we are commanded twice to fear his sanctuary. There are two verses that are identical which refer to this. Leviticus 19:30 and Leviticus 26:2 read, "My Sabbaths you shall guard, and my sanctuary you shall fear. I am Yahuwah." One claim that I've heard before regarding these two verses is that these commands are essentially the same thing. That it says at the beginning that we are supposed to guard his Sabbaths, and it says in the latter half of the verse that we are supposed to fear his sanctuary. And the conclusion that was being drawn is because they are in the same verse, they must therefore be the same thing. Now, it does make sense to use context as a clue for how it is that we should be interpreting a given command. That makes absolute sense. It is something that should be done in general, I believe. But the fact that two commands appear side by side does not automatically mean that they are the same thing. And it does not automatically mean that they are necessarily connected either, for that matter. So in looking at this command and looking at the word that's being used here, sanctuary, this is the Hebrew word miqdash. This word is used generally for a holy place. There are some other examples of it which we will get to. You may recognize this word as being a derivative form of the word kodesh, of course referring to holy or set apart. So this is a holy or set apart thing or place. Most frequently, it is used in reference to a hallowed place, a sanctuary. But there are a few examples in the Torah where it's used in another sense. Let's take a look at Numbers 18:29. "From all of your gifts you shall cause to heave, all heave of Yahuwah, from all of his fat, his holiness from him." In this verse, the word for holiness is the same word for sanctuary. It is miqdash. So in this case, it seems that the fat is being referred to as the holy thing, as the sanctuary. But of course, it's not a sanctuary in the sense of a place. It is just a hallowed thing. It is the hallowed part of the offering. Let's look at another example in Numbers 10:21. "And the Kohathites shall journey, ones bearing the holiness, and they shall cause to rise the tabernacle unto come of them." This verse refers to the Kohathites, the sons of Kohath, as carrying the hallowed articles of the tabernacle which they were responsible for. So in this case, it's also referring to a hallowed thing rather than a hallowed place. However, the dominant use of the term in the Torah, the dominant and most common use of miqdash, is in reference to a holy place. It is in reference to a sanctuary. Now, it's not always used in reference to a single sanctuary, because we can see in the list of the curses, for example, we see reference to the desolation of sanctuaries. But it is frequently used in reference to a particular place. Let's look at Exodus 25:8. "And they shall do to me sanctuary, and I shall tabernacle in their midst." In this chapter, the command regarding the construction of the tabernacle and the construction of the tent of meeting begins to be given. The people are taking up the materials in order to build it. And it says that what they are building for him is a holy place. It is a sanctuary, miqdash. They are building a sanctuary for him, and he is going to tabernacle in their midst. Let's also look at Leviticus 12, starting in verse 4. And 30 days and 3 days she shall sit in bloods of cleansing. In all hallowed she shall not touch, and to the sanctuary she shall not come, unto filling of days of her cleansing. So a woman, after she is given birth, in this case in reference to a male child, she is supposed to sit in bloods of cleansing, so she is supposed to wait a certain period of time until she has been cleansed. At which point, in verse 6, and in filling of days of her cleansing, to son or to daughter, she shall cause to come lamb, son of his year, to assent, and son of dove or turtle dove, to wrongdoing, to opening of tent of meeting to the priest. So during this period of cleansing, the woman that has given birth is not supposed to come to the sanctuary. But after that time is over, she is supposed to go to the tent of meeting. She is supposed to go there in order to perform an offering. And this is done at the point at which the cleansing period is over, at the point where she is no longer required to avoid the sanctuary. Let's also look at Numbers 19:20. This is in reference to defilement by the dead. And man which shall defile, and he shall not do wrong himself, and that vitality shall be cut from midst of the assembly, that sanctuary of Yahuwah he defiled. Waters of separation were not sprinkled on him. He is defiling. So in this case, we also see another situation where a person becomes defiled. In the case of touching a dead body or being in the presence of the dead, depending on the situation, a person can become defiled. And if they do not go through the purification ritual, they then defile the sanctuary. And that is obviously a problem in this case. Being cut from the assembly is not exactly a good thing. And finally, let's look at Numbers 3:38. And the ones camping before the tabernacle toward east, before tent of meeting, toward radiance, are Moses and Aaron and his sons, ones guarding guard of the sanctuary, to guard of sons of Israel. And the alien, the one nearing, shall be caused to die. Moses and Aaron's sons are camping in front of the tabernacle. And what they are doing is guarding the sanctuary. They are guarding the sanctuary by camping in front of the tabernacle. And they are ensuring that no alien is coming near. And there is also, as we've looked at, the issue of the unclean coming near. These people are not supposed to come near to the sanctuary. They are not supposed to come to the tabernacle compound. The tabernacle, of course, the tent of meeting, and also there is the courtyard that surrounded the tent of meeting. This is the sanctuary. This is the holy place. It is the holy place that was commanded to be built in Exodus 25:8. It is the place that is being built as the sanctuary, according to that verse. And it would make sense that, as we've seen, there is a reverence that is expected of this place. Defilement is not supposed to be brought to it, for example. And it would make sense because it is to be the house of our Elohim. It is the place that he commanded us to build for him so that he will tabernacle in the midst of Israel. If there is any place in existence that demands fearing, I would think that would be the house of Elohim. I would think that the dwelling of Elohim would deserve fear, would be a place that would demand such reverence. So in reference to my sanctuary you shall fear, does it not make sense that because of the seriousness of this place and the importance of it, that the tabernacle is a place that we should fear? Thanks for watching. Feel free to check out some of my other videos on other Torah issues, and be sure that you stay in touch so we can continue this discussion. Thanks for watching. Remember the commands. Shalom.